Hello and welcome to another episode of the Fractional Podcast. I'm Lance Robbins. I'm here with my co-host, Joshua Wold. How's it going, Joshua?
Good. It's good to be back. It's been a while since I've been on. Was on vacation last week and 2 weeks ago now. Who knows? Anyway, I'm glad to be back. It's a little snowy here in Idaho, but spring is on the way.
Yeah, no, glad for the snow. Glad to have you back. And we're joined today by Anna Bennett, a very special guest. Anna and I got connected almost a year ago, and we talked about it would be great to have you come on the podcast. We'd love to hear about your experience. And it took me, I won't say us, it took me about a year to make it happen. Anna, I'm really glad you're here. Anna is the co-founder at Go Bananas. Go Bananas is a boutique marketing and design strategy agency, and she serves through Go Bananas as a fractional head of marketing for the Running Remote community. Well, I guess not community, but for Running Remote, which is a community, it's an event, it's a lot. So maybe tell us a little bit about that and what you do through Go Bananas. And welcome to the show, Anna.
Thank you, Lance. Let's say that it was because of the two of us that we managed to spend like a whole year trying to arrange this. So let's blame both. And I am the co-founder of Go Bananas. We are a very small agency, my husband and I. After the pandemic, we decided to join forces and build this boutique agency where we help B2B business with the strategy and execution of marketing and design projects that can be as little and as big as you need it. I think one of our values is to be adaptable and flexible. And I think we're going to talk about that a lot in my life in general. That's how I feel that's how you should go in life. That's kind of one of my ethos. And through Go Bananas, I had the opportunity to meet Igor and Liam Martin. They are the co-founders of Running Remote, a network that is not only a series of events, annual series of events, but also a community of HR leaders and founders and people, all professionals that are interested on other people's stories that work in their companies. Like is in this distributed work where the majority of the tech companies live now, it's important to have someone that cares about their teams. And this content that is runs in the conference, the people that attend are all focusing on helping those teams to be better and perform. So that's what Running Remote is.
Great. Thanks. Yeah, and that's an event that I've not yet attended, but I definitely think it's on my list in the next year or two of places that I'm going to be spending some time. So yeah, really, really great to have you here. I'm want to talk a little bit about Go Bananas because it's not Go Bananas, it's Go Bananas. And for someone who's listening, they can hear in your voice that English is not your first language, although you're a great communicator in English, but it's not your first, it's not your native language. So, which just leads me into this next section that we want to talk about. And you alluded to it about adaptability, about flexibility. I want to talk about an appetite for risk and taking chances and making changes. But you are a Colombian native and
Correct.
found your way to the UK and now in Spain. Would you just take us through this kind of story of, hey, I'm going to leave home and go to a place where they don't speak my language and explore life and start a business and all of this stuff? How do you get started doing something like that? And I bring this up because I think it's an interesting topic. I think a lot of our listeners are in a place where maybe that's an opportunity for them, but it can be a scary one, an unknown one. How do they think about making this happen if it's something that they have a desire for? So yeah, I'm really I'm curious about your story and I'd love to hear it.
Right. To start with, Go Bananas come almost at the end of this story. So let me start with why I'm moving. I feel that reinventing yourself is the best way to go in life because we go through so many stages and we are so many different people throughout our cycle in this planet that it just makes sense that you create the best version of yourself as you get along to enjoy your life. So I moved from my country, from Colombia, almost 15 years ago. And I didn't do it because I was brave, I did it because I was curious and I was ambitious and I wanted to make a name by myself without being part of, you know, my parents' daughter. I just wanted to be independent and explore the world and, you know, and just find a better version of myself. And I decided to do my to travel and do my master's degree, and I wanted to challenge myself and do it in another language that was not mine. So, you know, British English was also one of my loves when I was growing up. So I decided to, you know, go to the UK and I started my master's. So I started as trying to find my place in the world. I become immigrant without really knowing what immigrant means. Then I moved to be a professional and a founder and now a mother. The whole thing is that I wasn't prepared for it, you know, and that was the whole point. When I moved to the UK, I was 21. So I was old enough to vote, but not enough to iron my clothes or pay my taxes. I didn't know how to do those things. I didn't think about culture or change of season. We were talking earlier before we started the recording. I didn't know that winter was going to be a very difficult season, and my neighbors who I had a barbecue in summer weren't going to say hello to me in winter. I just wanted to make a name for myself. I come from a family of 47 members. We're all loud, opinionated, loving and caring. In the UK, that suddenly became a lot. So there is a moment in there where I had to reinvent of who I wanted to be, not in order for me to fit in the culture, but in order for me to feel comfortable with myself. And I think that was a lot of reinventing. So it was more about a survival strategy in a way, and also to enjoy the process. You know, I have a thing I always tell my husband: enjoy the journey and not focus on the destination. And I think those are the things that you will never regret in your life when you really enjoy what you have done and you jump in there. How you land, that's another story. But I think that's how it starts.
So that's kind of enjoying the journey and not just thinking about the end. Do you ever find moments where you realize, "Oh, I'm not enjoying this and I need to make a change?" Or do you just keep putting your nose down and keep pushing until you hope to get through it? I say this as in various parts of my career, I've been way more interested in where I'm eventually going to get than the day-to-day enjoyment of the moment and just appreciating where I'm at. How do you wrestle with that? Is that really you've shaped your entire life around this, or there's some days, no, I'm not loving this so much, but I just got to do it.
It's a good point, actually. I feel that my mom did a very good job teaching me how to be grateful with things. So I feel that there are moments in your life where you have a focus. Every stage in your life, you have a different focus, right? Right now, at the moment, I am a mom of a 20-month-old baby. My focus is on my family, in the lifestyle that I want to give to my family, in the attention that I want to give to that child. Of course, so she has a good education, but also because I want to enjoy the first years that are the most entertaining ones in a life of a human being, right? So coming back to your question, I try to be actively grateful on the things that happen to me. And sometimes that focus is what will give me like, okay, perhaps what I am doing on my professional life is not what is fulfilling me completely, but my personal life and what I really want to be my focus is. So in that
Mm,
regard, you kind of like balance your life. That's how I see it. But I also going to be honest with you. If I don't like something, I change it. So I live in the UK for 13 years and I am so grateful. UK gave me so many opportunities. They gave me so much good friends, my husband, my career. But I found out that that lifestyle was not for me anymore. As a mother, as you know, as a founder, I just thought it's time for me to move to a place where I feel more welcome, maybe, perhaps,
mm,
or where I can get most out of my money, etc. Too many other things. But I feel that when you don't feel that that's your place, you move because
mm,
we are we started as nomads, right? Like as humans, we have that power of adaptability, and it's down to you to really enjoy that journey instead of just focusing always in destination. Sometimes you obviously have to, but in the majority of the times, that's how I see it.
I love that. So my wife and I back, this is 14 years ago, we moved from Indiana to Idaho. So within the United States, that's a big move. And we didn't know where we were going. We Googled it. We found this city. We're like, let's move here. The day after we got here, we found out she's pregnant and we've been here ever since. And that we left behind loved ones, we left behind friends and family. But there was something about that nomadic, hey, we feel this itch to go do something. And I'm so glad we did. I'm so glad we made that shift. And I know Lance, at least within America, has had a similar shift, which is why we both landed in Idaho. And I love how we'll get to this in a moment, but the UK wasn't all of it. So then you kind of continued on. And sometimes in my own life, moving doesn't solve everything, but sometimes it helps.
It does. It does. Depending of the reason that you're moving, right? When I moved from Colombia to the UK, there were so many reasons that I did it. I wanted to obviously continue my education, but I came with a broken heart in a way. So I said like, oh, yeah, okay, let's throw everything and go to another place to find other people. And you do bring your worries and your problems with you. So it is not the right solution unless you want to work on yourself and just like get the better version of yourself so you can give it to the rest of the people around you or for yourself. If you work on yourself and then enjoyed that journey and your next stage in another place, that's where it is. It's not avoiding. That's not a good strategy.
Yeah, you can
I
run
love that.
away from something or you can run towards something. I think people make changes, right, about where they live, about who they're with, about where they work. I mean, I think a lot of people that tune into this show are kind of in this transition period. Do I want to become an independent? So yeah, it's important to ask why. Why do you want to do that? Why do you want to make that change? Why do you want to go somewhere else? Are you running away from something that it would be good to turn around and face it and work through it? Like you said, work on yourself a little bit here. It doesn't mean that making a change is the wrong choice, but if you do it for the wrong reason or an unhealthy reason, you probably don't find what you're looking for on the other side. So from one problem to the next. So
That's
yeah,
true. And you know what? Is this whole reinventing yourself and just moving to another place and, creating another version of yourself is not a sexy thing. It comes with a lot of hiccups and obstacles. It's hard. Being an immigrant in a country where you don't handle the language well, it could break you if you don't really know the reason why you are doing this, right? The first time I felt an immigrant or like I felt I didn't belong was when I was doing my placement in my master's degree. And I was in a real British company, everybody was white and very British. And my accent became the joke of the meeting. And they were really nice. Don't get me wrong. They were really welcoming. They kind of adopt me, I was 21. But those daily microaggressions add up to how you feel. You start questioning your background, your voice, your present. Would it ever be enough? Do I have to really change that much? And when I moved, I was by myself. I didn't have any family or any friends there. So although my parents were on the other side of the phone, let's be honest, you don't really tell the full story. That's what's the point. So I think is in that sense, you really need to believe in yourself because otherwise those kind of things will break you.
I can think about, I mean, I cannot pretend to relate to how it feels to be an immigrant, to not feel welcomed because of my voice or the way I look or anything like that. So I won't even pretend that, but I am seeing a little bit of a correlation, right? The first time that I'm not a W-2 employee, but I'm an independent and I step into a room with people who aren't my employers anymore, they're my customer. And it can feel very like you can feel quite shaken in that moment, those very first times if you're making this change into entrepreneurship. So I'm making a correlation, right, between your story and someone who's made a journey from a stable, secure, full-time job into entrepreneurship, where you stand in front of people not as an employee with a relative amount of safety, but as a customer with different expectations, and it's a different experience. And I think there's some similarity in willingness to embrace risk, willingness to feel uncomfortable, because you're working towards a goal that is on the other side of that discomfort.
Right.
Anyway,
Absolutely.
I see
I
the
completely agree
correlation.
with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see the point. And not only until you get out of your comfort zone and you jump into what you say, moving from working from a company to make your own business and start your own gig, or to move to another country, or any of the changes that you do, it feels scary because as humans we want to belong, and it's comfortable to be in a place where people accept you, and it feels weird just jumping without having a a cushion, a comfort cushion. When you jump into a becoming the owner of your own chapter, it's nerve-wracking. You don't know where
Mhm.
you're going to spec. Probably you will have a pipeline of your first 5 customers, but you don't know if they're going to turn, or if you're going to get more, or I don't know, maybe AI is going to take over and then you just have to move. But then you adapt. You need to adapt and change, make it your own. I feel that
Well,
that's
and
that's
I think part of the reason that you do these things, and I'm just going off of my own experience and all the people we've interviewed, is there's a certain version of you that feels more alive. That though there's risk, you're stepping out and doing something that doesn't have a safety net. There's autonomy, there's possibility, there's just so many chances that open up when you step out and do something different. That for some people, that's the life they want. They want that kind of excitement. They want that kind of joy that can enter their life as a result.
that's true. Yeah, this is not for everyone, right?
Mhm.
That's also to say, and it's okay. I read the other day an article, I'm going to say Forbes, where it said the majority of people that want to move in their career, the only option that they have is to be managers, or, have a team and direct a team. But sometimes, as not everybody want to have the responsibility of managing, they people want to, grow in their career
Hmm.
just to do the best that they know, like the best of their skills, but not necessarily managing other people. And our system is just like you just grow to be a manager and to have a team that you just can then lead, and they will do the job that you really like to do. Um, and then you just need to do the strategy and focus on the budget and the financials and the part that is boring about the job that they really don't enjoy. And sometimes it's just okay to be in the place where you like, where you feel that you belong, and that makes you comfortable. It
I work.
is so relative.
I worked with this guy probably 5 or 6 years ago who was at least in his 50s, and he was doing individual contributor work alongside me. So he was a peer. And I remember kind of wondering, like, hey, what is he doing here? Why is he not leading the team, running the company? And then as I got to know him and spend time around him, I realized he just loves his craft. He loves what he's doing. He loves, and the more I heard about him, oh, yeah, you've run teams before. You've done this kind of stuff before. It's not what you enjoy. What you enjoy is working alongside a few other people and building things. That's just so fun for you. And yeah, that's not for everyone. I do have a question, something I was kind of wondering. As someone coming from the Americas, moving to the UK, and then I see now Spain, how would you contrast those two countries as a potential nomad going to both of those two places?
Opposite side of the spectrum.
Yeah. I've been to both countries, but only to visit. So I've only been to each one for a couple weeks, so I don't have a strong view of it. Yes, so please tell me.
I feel that, I mean, like in everything in life, you find the beauty and also the challenges, right? So as a Colombian, I love the warmth and and how welcoming my people are, right? And I enjoy a good laugh and being clear about what you think without having to pretend, something different. I am as transparent as you can see in my face, and you will notice when I don't like something and when I love something.
Hmm.
And that is fantastic. Now there is a lot that as community we need to learn from countries that have had a little bit longer in this development system on process and organization and also respect between one of each other. We are so passionate as Latinos, that sometimes we forget that there is a personal space, and and there is like a boundary in there that sometimes is difficult, to manage for us. But on the other side, then you have the beautiful British people that are so polite and respectful and and welcoming in their own way, right?
Mm.
We, as a Colombian, you want to feed people. You always want to go on the belly. You want to make them feel, you know, warm and loved and cared. The British are more taking care of you in a respectful way. Like make sure that they're comfortable and that you belong, but within distance. The opportunities that you can get in countries like the European ones, UK, Germany, France, on the professional side is something that I wouldn't have dreamt of when I was in
Mm.
Colombia, right? And also when I moved, globalization was not such a big thing, right? So for us, still, when I moved to the UK, I thought that I was gonna find still guys with hats and well, okay, no, I'm being a little bit extreme. It's not
Yeah.
Bridgerton, but something around like that Hugh Grant kind of a style that I thought was going to be. And it's not, right? Like we are all different people. Like in one country, you can find so many different personalities and ways of being and accents, etc. So I feel that was kind of an element of shock. The more you go to the top of the country in the UK, and you go to Scotland, they are as friendly and lovely. Irish people, colleagues, very warm and family orientated. In a way, it was lovely to see kind of like the different tonalities of a personality for you know UK citizen, and I think that was one of the reasons what made me fall in love and decide to stay there and had my citizenship and become a British. I think I always say I'm a very proud Colombian, but I'm also very proud British
Mm.
citizen. Give me so much, and kind of tied in a little bit with my professional life. I have to be honest with you. I didn't do this by myself. I wouldn't have been able to go through this journey if people hadn't believed in me.
Mm.
Because when I moved to the country, I moved as a student. And then once my master finished, I had to get a sponsorship. And it was not easy, but I managed to get 3 sponsorships in order for me to get to the end of my 12 years and get my citizenship.
Wow.
And I don't take that for granted. Someone took a risk of believing on me, and for me, that is serious. Is a lot of responsibility for them, right? And also paperwork, financial risk, cost, but most importantly, trust. And I feel that I work harder for them just because I knew that I have to give something back. And I didn't want that their belief was misplaced somehow. So I think that made me, I know it's a business exchange, right? You deliver value, you get what you want, but belief is never really guaranteed. Not everybody can do it, and not everybody do it, and they don't have to. So I think for me that was really important. That changed me.
There was years ago, there's someone I helped to get a job at a company, and he thanked me many times for giving him the opportunity. But something that I called out to him, I'm like, hey, I only gave you the opportunity because I knew you could do it and you would do it well. And so I think it goes both ways, right? That the door is opened for you. It's up to you to step through it. And it requires trust on both sides, right? Because it's not, oh, I pulled myself up by my bootstraps and did it all by myself. That's not true. No one has done that. But it also isn't, hey, I'm thankful. I'm still doing my part. I'm still I didn't have to step up and do my best. I could have chosen not to, and instead you did. And I love that part of humanity, people helping, being helped, which also helps backwards. And I think there's just so many beautiful lessons more of us could learn if we were open to opportunities and willing to lend opportunities.
I'm with you. Absolutely. I think that kind of belief will stay with you and change you. It makes you more like a humble person, right? I am willing to listen to anyone's stories because I know I had to fight for mine. So you're right. Someone gave me a chance, and that taught me that for those who were behind me in the same journey or in a different journey, but, trying to fit in their own path, I had the responsibility to open that door for those. And I feel that for me is, with Go Bananas is really important. I am an advocate of women, of course, but I am also an advocate for anyone who wants to jump out of their comfort zone and go into the lion's den. And if I can support that journey, I'm keen on doing those things. It's important giving back.
So I have a follow-up question. So for Go Bananas, if you're listening to this, you can't see the spelling of it. The spelling, it has the word Ben and Anna in it. You mentioned your husband multiple times here. I'm curious, what is it like working alongside your spouse in this company that you both created? What's that interaction like? What happens like if over dinner you're a little bit annoyed with each other, but you still have to work together? What's that experience like for you both?
Yeah, it's a question that I get a lot, and also people add to that, and having a spouse that is Latino and the other one is British.
Mm.
So it is right. Go Bananas is Go Ben and Anna. We met on the first day of my of my first job in events, and we work in the same team. Ben is a very tall, handsome man that I saw first day and the first minute, and I thought that guy needs to be mine. He's
I
going
love
to
it.
be mine. He says that he thought about the same about me, but I don't know. I think I was the one who made a decision. And so he is the creative director of our company. He was a creative director of Money 2020 then, where we met. I started as a marketing executive. And the short answer to that, how is it? I don't know anything else apart of that, because we have always worked together. We met working together, and we have since in different companies with different clients, and it has always worked very well. I am very talkative and very loud. Ben is a little bit more to himself and is very patient. Thank God. And it works really well because he's a very visual person and I am more into the storytelling. So it has been a nice complement. When we started working together in Money 2020, we were always in projects. And when I moved to another event to head the marketing department, we kind of missed that of like having the same opportunity to talk and to bounce ideas of each other. So, after the pandemic hit and I was working for an event where I did 35 digital events. And for those who do marketing know that you
Wow.
do the same cycles for one event in a digital event or in-person event. And I did 35. So I burnt out and I said like, I cannot do this anymore. So I need to, step out and see what I want and what I'm good at. Is it marketing that I want to continue doing? Is this something that, we really want to pursue it? And Go Bananas started because everybody called us bananas. Banana. So
Yes.
bananas was always our nickname. And, with the play of words like go bananas. I think it was just kind of like, it was there. It had to be there. It's lighting people in the right direction. So, we try to be very strict on when we're working and when we're having our personal life. Also because, we work from home. We have our child now here. So making those boundaries is quite important. Of course, there are days where we'll have to work later
Hmm.
than the usual routine. And that's absolutely fine as well. Again, flexibility and adaptability is motto in this house. We just try to adjust as we go and as it goes. It works for us. We have different clients as well. So it's not that we always have the same projects to talk to. So it kind of like gives a nice fresh air to the conversations and to our relationship. It doesn't work for everyone, but for us, it does. Oh, we're still married and has been 8 years and we still love each other. So yeah, it works.
So you took a step towards your Colombian roots by moving to Spain, but Ben takes a step away from his British roots towards your native culture, right? Moving to Spain. How is that going for Ben? Does he appreciate more of what you've been through because he's now, two steps behind you, but going through it himself. What's that been like?
Yes, interesting. So he was the one who was playing home, and then we move, and I am the local now. Let's start to say he was the one who wanted to move to Spain more than me, because I was a Londoner. I thought I was gonna die there. I was, a Londoner anyway. And but lifestyle in here was definitely something that we could improve substantially. So for him, he wanted to pursue the dream that perhaps for me was different, right? I wanted to move to a bigger city with big opportunities and a lot of buzz and restaurants and a lot of things to do. When we moved to Spain, his idea was a little bit more, it was completely opposite, a little bit different. No, it was
Mm.
completely opposite. He wanted to, live by the sea, have like a very chill life, give an education to our child that was more safe, relaxed. And I was just like, well, are you sure? Yes, this is what you really want to do. There's a lot of challenges. Language is one of them. It's not the same when you learn a language when you have when you are a year old, when you are 20, and when you are 45, right? Those are like big differences, especially when your native language is the language that everybody else speaks to communicate themselves in English. So for Ben has been a challenge to learn the language, but other than that, he has adapted so well within the community, the culture. He loves harvesting and cultivating vegetables and fruits and all these things. And that's something that you can definitely do here. So that has been kind of like one of his hobbies. But yes, it is now changing the roles. Before, when I was saying something like, I don't know, when you're driving and you will go, make a decision and it's not the right one, the local will say like, duh, because yes. And now it's kind of like, I don't understand how the banks work. I'm like, yeah, I know, because it doesn't make any sense. It's okay. We don't make any sense. It's just like, and that was actually a conversation that Lance and I had a month ago, and we're talking about how interesting has been for me understanding language through my 20-month-old baby and my husband and my experience, because I was thinking that when I see her starting to get to talk, she's a blank canvas. So she
Mhm.
doesn't know anything else other than what you're telling her, that this is water or this is, whatever. She doesn't know anything else. So she believes you and she will call water water. When you are 45 and you know that water has been called water and now you have to change it for agua, there is something about the brain of really not wanting to adapt and being flexible. It's very difficult to make those changes. And for him, it's like, I don't understand why you use that structure to ask questions. That doesn't make any sense. It doesn't, honey. Just go for it. Just go for it.
Doesn't have to make sense, right? Doesn't have to make sense. Yeah.
Exactly.
Go for it. One last thing I want to touch on before we wind down. Moving to a new place, right? So for you, moving to the UK was a new place. You didn't know anybody. Now you've both moved to Spain, a new place. You didn't know anybody. People who leave their stable jobs where all their colleagues are and their friends are, and they start their own independent work. That can be new and you don't know anybody. It can be lonely. It can feel like I'm really alone on this journey. How have you found a sense of community, going to new places, landing in new cities, and starting your own business, not having the colleagues now? I mean, the great part of the story is that you have Ben, but for the both of you, right? How do you build community for yourselves in a life that inherently involves going places and doing things where you don't know anybody?
Good question. I think this is not about being fearless. It's about being honest of what are the things that you like and that you want, in order to find those groups of people that will follow kind of the same ideas that you have. So going to Ben's example, he's really into these allotment things and fruits and vegetables and all these things. And he gets into Facebook groups or threads where they are talking about that, and start building community that way, or language exchange. that also allow him to practice his English when he is also enjoying doing other activities that he enjoys too. For me, I am more sociable, so I do whatever you want. I will go, like potter train. Let's do that. Let's do bachata classes. I don't know how to dance that, but let's just jump into it. I do enjoy getting myself out of the comfort zone, and that has made me create that kind of like friendships. Also, having having kids help it a little bit because you have that community of older parents that have the same beliefs on the education that you give to your kids, and that like facilitates a little bit more. But I
Mhm.
feel it's just more to be open, right? I go to the bank and I say like good morning, and I am open for people to get to know me, but also to get to know their stories, right? I don't know how interesting I am, but I know that I am very interested in other people's stories because that will teach me something, that for sure. So I think it's just being open and try it and jump into the lion's den.
I love that.
Great. How can people find you? How can they find Go Bananas? How can they find Running Remote? Where do you want to steer people to if they're listening to this and they're like, I want to know more about what Anna's up to and follow along? Where's the best place to find you?
Thank you. I think LinkedIn is where I live. So Anna Bennett, that is where how you can find me. Go Bananas is Go Bananas. You already say it with E as a banana. And for those listeners that are creating their own companies with distributed works, running remote is just an intimate gathering, ultimately for those founders and HR leaders that like us, care about the stories of the people they work with. The work shifting from old school office to a new ways to flexible works. If you just wanna be better at it or don't have idea and want to start, this is the place where you can get yourself informed and trained. We have an event coming up in Austin on the 27th, the 29th in April, I said. So you can always come and join us if you want more information. Happy to.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate having you on. And for our listeners, if you have any follow up questions for us or want to ask things about the show, email at fractional.fm. Thank you, Anna, for coming on. We really appreciate this.
Thank you, guys. I really enjoyed it.